Hey, Yugs! I know
Yes,
a way
Joey.
to spice up the game. I
Well,
have this
tell me.
Mary Jane. On the streets, they known as marijuana.
Yugi fucking raises his hand. Mind crush!
Ah.
He blows fucking Joey's brains everywhere.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Bad Take Podcast with me and Daft. We're here to talk.
Yeah, we are here to talk about what exactly. We have a lot of news things.
Oh, we're here to talk about
Politics.
Talk about
Which one?
politics and discoveries
And science and discoveries. Discoveries in politics.
We were covering all our bases. Speaking of science, you
Yeah,
ever hear of
yeah,
cloning?
I- oh,
you ever hear of clone
Clones
high?
getting high? First clones exist. Now we're getting them high. We're advancing our technology.
Clones getting high. Season
Wait,
2.
We just introduced clones getting high. Now they're on season 2.
Technically season
Yeah.
1. Who knows
On
at
the
this point?
newfangled Max, which it's called.
a
It's like
fucking
you gotta go
mess.
to max.com and everything. Luckily, because I paid for HBO Max, all the account details is transferred over. But when I was watching
Mm-hmm.
Clone High season 2, they labeled it season 1 for some reason, and it's like I guess it's its own season. You know?
You know, it's funny you say that because I literally had that same experience like last night because I wanted to just check out how the show is because I keep seeing clips of it. And I was I wasn't sure if I was watching. You open up Max, which is it's still insane to think about. Then you scroll to Clone High, and there are now 2 Clone Highs, both that start on season 1, but they're technically not this. Like one's season 2. But it's not season 2, it's season 1, but it's not really season 1 because it's part 2 of the first season of the original show, which is also called Clone High Season
And it's
1.
interesting because this series literally takes place 20 years in the future, and now it's in widescreen. And I was watching the series, I was like, oh, this is kind of weird that they just kind of have to like do their best to fill in the spaces on the left and right. Because I remember watching the original series and going, oh, this is good, this is nice. But you kind of lose a lot of the intimacy in sitcoms and emotions with widescreen, at least for TV shows. How'd you feel about that?
Yeah, I think when you do something like this, where you have a show where, like, obviously a lot, like, the format has just changed over time, it's really jarring. Like, it like, hit me almost immediately because I was watching the, like I said, the show. And there's, like, a walk cycle with, like, Abe and Joan or whatever. And, like, I just got distracted by their legs. Like, the amount of frames, I don't know if it's different between the two. You're the animation whiz. I don't know. But, like, it's just so
I did
weird.
notice that there's a lot more blood than there was previously, and when they stab each other and hurt each other and shoot each other, there's a lot more blood than you expect, and it's like, my god, Jesus Christ is a character in the show.
Yeah, they clearly were just trying to drive home in the first episode. They're like, we're still edgy, guys. We're still cool. Because, like, fucking Abe, he gets his, like, fucking, his leg chopped, starts bleeding everywhere. It's, like, getting paper cuts everywhere.
He gets
I
so
thought,
many
like-
paper cuts.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? To apologize to everyone, which are going to be very vague about what he has to apologize for, how about everyone just squirt lemons and hot sauce into my fucking hands, and I scream every time. Good God.
I don't know what, I thought that was going to play into it, you know? Like, I thought, like, the blood loss, like, at the end, he'd be a little pale or something, and they'd be like, oh, he was, like, just, he wasn't thinking clearly. But no, it's just there. It just happens.
And he's forgiven. That's how it works.
He's forgiven, because he's a cool guy.
Well, what do you think of the new characters? Harriet Tubman, Frida, and Confucius. Oh, and Topher Bus.
Topher Bus is, I just get the feeling he was obviously of a design that they just scrapped early development of the original show because he's the only one that really fits. Maybe it's because there's not a lot going on with his, like, wardrobe.
I guess it has to do with the colors,
But the rest,
because the previous characters don't have a lot
Yeah.
of colors or patterns to them, if at all.
I guess that, but also just, like, the clothes. Like, Confucius's fucking jacket takes up, like, 2 character spaces.
Well, I'm fine with that.
He's
I just
fucking
think
gigantic.
maybe not stripes. Not stripes. What's the pattern specifically that he's wearing? God damn, what is it? Flannel? Not flannel. Flannel? I'll just call it flannel. The checker boxes or whatever. And it's like, oh, that's a lot. So what? Okay, let me look. So for Abe, you got beige pants, white blue shirt. Cool. For Joan, black shirt, greenish pants. Harriet Tubman, green and yellow shirt with some different greens at the base of the shirt. We also have blue pants, but also lighter blue. Like, we know when you roll up your pants, you can see something else. And then you also got yellow legs. That's a lot of colors. Maybe 3. Maybe just sticking to 3 colors and not having, like, different shades of the color could work. I'm not sure. But Confucius, probably no flannel. Maybe he'd look better if no flannel.
I don't know, man. I don't think it's just the clothes. It's something about even just, like, the line art or however it's drawn, because, like, I've seen stills of, like, the characters standing next to each other and they just they look
Oh.
nothing alike. It looks like they're like a fan edit, you know, like when you take a still from a cartoon.
Someone
and just
did
draw over it.
notice that in the background of, what was it, season 1, you actually see different versions of Frida and different versions of Harriet. Like if you look on screen right now,
Really?
and I'm just sending this to JJ specifically, they already had a Frida design specifically.
Oh no, yeah, they there was that, and then there was also like in that same clip where that's from. There's one of Harriet Tubman too, where she's just wearing like a basic tank top and a fucking like
Yeah.
thing in her hair.
And there is definitely a difference between having a background character design and a main character design, but I think they referenced it in the literal intro of the second season. Maybe that is the same character and she just changed her hair, you know, post unfreezing, I guess. But also, is there different versions of Harriet going around? That could be interesting. Maybe another Abe.
I'm not giving it any. I'm not giving it any excuses.
We have to have very adamant and specific opinions about the Clone High.
Because I hate to join the bandwagon, but it's so outlandishly off-brand. I get like the idea. I think the idea is that they're supposed to be like in your face, like radically different from everything from before. But like I don't see how that's gonna be appealing for an entire series.
I guess we'll have to see. I've only seen the first 2 episodes and thought so far it was very fucking funny. Like I thought it was very funny. Though of course the first episode is about canceling, and the second one was about internet trolling.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe after we get past all right, we're 20 years in the future, let's see how these old people react to new things. Which at the end of the first episode, they don't resolve Abe's bigotry. Like they don't be like, hey man, that's not cool. Here's why. We don't say these words. Also, I'm making it sound
Yeah.
like he's saying worse, like way worse stuff. Like, Abe, what were you saying?
Yeah, I didn't want to say. You make.
But they keep cutting back to Gandhi.
I can't believe they got away with the N word.
They keep cutting back to Gandhi being frozen.
I love that. They could have just completely ignored it, but they make that the in joke. What sucks is I don't think he's gonna show up in this season.
Maybe he'll die in the season, or maybe he will be revealed as someone else.
Maybe. I think the popular theory is that he was like a clone of Gary Coleman.
That was what the original show intenders wanted to do before the show got canceled because of Gandhi. But I guess that is an issue when you're trying to make historical figures into clones. It also comes to the point of, hey, how did you get Jesus Christ's DNA? Like, how did you get that? Like, I know there's like some shrouds that have imprints of Jesus's face on it that have DNA on it and everything, but like specifically, how'd you get his DNA?
This guy's got a question.
But also,
for
if you have a clone Jesus, does he have the same powers as the first one?
Probably. He probably could just like put his hands next to someone's head and he'd probably pop.
If Jesus can turn water to
if
wine,
you thought about it.
the brain can he turn the brain juices into wine as well and get people drunk faster that way? Just
That'd probably kill them, but yeah. I think they would be drunk and probably
speaking
brain
of being
dead.
brain dead.
Brains dripping out their ears. Well, if you're turning their brain juices to wine, there's gonna have some. There's gonna be some effect.
But for drug use, alcohol use, drug use, apparently I found this before the call. Back in 2003, the United States White House, I just specify because maybe there are White Houses around the world. We also called ours the White House, you know? But apparently the White House specifically, George Bush himself worked with YuGiOh to make an anti-drug PSA for YuGiOh.com. What do you think of that?
I love that. I love that so much. We just saw that very recently. It's the funniest thing in the
So
world.
basically, it's low-res JPEGs, shittily cut out, because this is before we had advanced tools for, you know, selecting and getting rid of, but also varying degrees of images. Like, we have a clear, like you see on screen right now, we have a clear picture of Joey, but then Tristan and the other people, forgot her name, are, like, clearly from a background shot where it's very far away and zoomed in. It's like, oh, this is simpler animation, everything. And Yugi's just basically saying, I would never want to disappoint my friends and family by smoking marijuana. I would lose concentration.
It's so.
I never want to lose concentration.
Here, I'll be Joey and you be Yugi in this situation. All right, okay. Hey, Yugs! I know a way to spice up the game. I
Well,
have this
tell me.
Mary Jane. On the streets, they known as marijuana.
Yugi fucking
Raises his hand. Mind crush!
blows fucking Joey's brains everywhere. That's what it sounds like when your brain explodes. By the way, that's an
Tristan comes
accurate
up.
sound.
Yugi, what? He was just asking if you want to try it.
Mind crush!
Blow his brains.
Yugi. That's Kaiba.
Had nothing to do
You
with
fell
it.
for my trap. I tried.
I guess what?
Ah,
Mind crush!
Yugi.
Looking like a Tarantino movie in this
Yugi's
fucking duel
grandpa.
room.
He's still
dude.
stuck in the VHS tape. I was like, Yugi, Kaiba just said if you smoked the weed, I would be free. Like, it wasn't even that bad. He's just try to be your friend. Oh,
Mind Crush is what? Mind Crush! I don't even know how that's possible.
the VHS player explodes and Yugi's dad dies forever. Just
the tape.
And that's
flies
why
everywhere.
you should never do drugs. Because you have mind powers when you don't do drugs.
If I saw that tape as a kid, I'd be hooked on like the hardest of drugs, trying to get that out of
Yeah,
my
no,
brain.
it wasn't even like anything worse than weed. Like they don't even mention crack or cocaine or ecstasy, you know, or LSD. Like some of the worst drugs. But also the short PSA, 30 seconds, he thinks that you're supposed to smoke it while playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Like he says, I will never smoke and play the game. It's like, Yugi, you can do it afterwards. You can do it afterwards.
Just
Wait,
changed
wait
his
a
whole
second.
life.
Maybe I shouldn't have mind blasted those people. Mind reverse!
Just,
Thank you, Uggs.
I just love that like they try to make it serious, so they wouldn't just say weed. So he had to like say marijuana. And I don't know why, but him saying marijuana like 4 times is like the funniest thing to me. Dan Green and his little fucking Yu-Gi-Oh!
And
voice.
none of the other characters speak at all. It's not like Kaiba comes in where it's like, Yugi and I may have our differences, but we would never smoke. How do you think I rose up as a CEO?
Sato fucking Sato does. Sato canonically does lines of coke.
Well,
right
that's why he
before
was
every
okay
duel.
with this.
He just rolls up his fucking axe raider.
He's
just fucking.
Oh, yeah. But he's totally for cocaine.
Oh, I need to feel the rush.
I feel the blue-eyes white dragon coursing through my veins.
that and the cocaine.
Speaking of awful fucking transition, I finally watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Volume 3.
Speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy,
Before we get to the actual thing, there was like 10 people in the theater because it's quite, we're literally watching it weeks after it released, and so there was someone in my seat. Like I can't stress enough, 10 people in the theater.
That's always so weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like when there's like an infinite amount of pool of seats, but they somehow always pick the one that you're fucking.
Yeah, because I
sitting
bought
in.
specifically J10, J11. I'm giving you context, and because my friend was gonna sit with me as well, and I was like, these are our seats. And there's like a girl and a guy, and there's an empty seat between, which is mine. And I said, hey, this is my seat. It's like, hey, friend, she's in your seat. Can you move? And they're like, oh, okay. And then they left, and my friend sat down, and I was like, that was fucking weird.
Oh,
Yes,
you went up to them?
They were sitting in my seat. We paid for these seats.
Dude.
It's the literal middle of the theater, the best seat in the house. That's why they took our seats.
I guess. I don't know, man. I wouldn't have gone up to them. I would have just sent the row below. I guess I don't have the cojones.
Well, it's more so like if they learn to do it this one time, maybe they'll try it again, I guess. Or it's like, hey...
First time you get told, hey, move your seat. The second time, fire in
Yeah,
line.
there's no usher. The musician, like, no usher came in and be like, hey man, this guy's seat's right here. Because if that point came in, the usher would have been like, why'd you take these guys' seats? There's so many seats around us. But Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Go
That
on.
happened to me one time. Yeah. Never mind.
No,
Skip
you were
this.
saying something.
I was just going to say, a stupid joke. I was going to say that it happened to me one time where I went there and I fucking mentioned to the guy to clean up the popcorn, like, this guy took my seat. So we pulled up his, like, dustbin and he pulled out a fucking handgun to start firing at him. It wasn't even the guy I told was sitting in my seat. It was completely, like, a guy and his daughter. That's why I don't
I
tell him
remember the
anymore.
story. You specifically said that the guy was dumping popcorn on the ground anyway, saying like, let me feed the theater staff. Just dumping it out for them, having a good time.
Having a good time. That's how I have a good time. I always dump out my popcorn.
No,
on the floor.
because I got some nachos at the theater. They gave me last time I got nachos at a theater probably a month ago, I guess. They give you a lot less chips now. A lot less chips. It's like, oh, damn, inflation.
Let's just put the address of this specific theater in the background so we can all dox them and just give them the worst reviews. Ruin some
Sponsored
lives.
by the White House. You should put
Sponsored
more
by
chips in
nachos.
your theater, or Yugi will mind blast you.
It's a really strange anti-marijuana commercial,
Yes,
Reagan.
I'm still alive. It is 2004, and I'm still here.
Yeah, they fucking go up to Reagan. They're like, "Sir, I don't know how to tell you this, but we put $10.5 billion
Yes, very
into
good.
this one Yu-Gi-Oh ad, and it looks like it's playing on a Game Boy, sir. I don't know how we're supposed to. This is not gonna work. The internet's already surpassed this kind of file.
Well, brain blast.
Reagan blast.
Reagan blast.
Nancy, pick up the coins. He dropped some.
I want $10 million for this Yu-Gi-Oh! Anti-drug ad, and the rest can put cocaine in low and
Maybe
polished
now I
areas.
can finally meet Yugi.
I shall beat best the Pharaoh in
No
duel.
one, no one tells Reagan that Yugi's not a real person. The Pharaoh's real, but Yugi, the Pharaoh is an actual actor. Yugi's just a fictional character.
He's wearing the fucking Millennium. He's wearing the Millennium Puzzle. Transforms into Yami Reagan.
And we're back from the break. What's up? Did you do anything?
Dude, I don't know. I think something's wrong. That break was like, it's been a week. I just checked my calendar. What the fuck happened? How did that much time pass?
He's blanked out. Like, you said a lot of things. A lot of bad things.
What the fuck? Oh my lord.
The whole world hates you.
Dude, I think some family members don't even. I think
everyone
someone died.
We're the last two people alive. We're actually AI.
Oh my god. Anyways, what were we talking about?
But for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, very nice conclusion to their story. Even though at the very end it said the legendary Star-Lord will return. And it's like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, maybe?
You were skipping the whole... Are we not talking about the movie? I
just want to get to that point. I just want to get to that point specifically.
Oh my...
Spoilers.
We haven't even talked about the movie. You just went straight to the end credit scene.
Oh, we can talk about the end credit scene.
That is the end credit scene. You're talking about the ending.
No, they always have that for fucking Marvel movies where it's like, Iron Man will return. Well, he just exploded. How will he return?
That makes me interested.
For Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, we deal with High Evolutionary, a guy who has a weird skin face.
It's actually
what
a
I
mask.
said. Just what it's a mask. No, we later find out why his face is disfigured, but also like, aren't you a smart scientist that deals with biotechnology? Why didn't you fix your face, smartass?
Yeah, that is okay. He's fucking he's like creating like new life, an entire new civilization, but he doesn't know how to get a fucking can't just spray on skin.
Well, I
or
understand
some shit.
for someone like Red Skull, because he was a literal Nazi from the 40s. Like, what technology did people in the 40s have back then? But this is like this year. I think in the Marvel universe, we're now finally caught up to 2023, and he's got like. They had to go get some codes from a very highly advanced, like the highest advanced hospital in the galaxy or even universe. And it's like, you got some nanomachines that can fix your face, Mr. High Evolutionary? Nope. We find out that Rocket Raccoon, or Rocket for many of you who are listening, just keep it on the down low. It turns out he has like a fucking metal contraption on his heart, and throughout most of the movie, it's flashbacks of his very sad life. Very, very sad life.
The whole movie's... Yeah, no, a lot of people were shitting on that before it even came out. They saw the commercials with the sad Rocket, and everyone's like, oh no, James Gunn always uses his little animals to sell his movie. And it was the saddest shit in the world. I don't want to hear a fucking word.
We're gonna say the same shit with Crypto the Super Dog in Superman. Oh, there he is. Crypto be very sad.
Yep.
Nobody likes a sad Crypto. It's me.
Reviewing Superman.
Superman returns. No, but we follow a lot of points where James Gunn is clearly angry about the snap and everything that happened in Endgame. Like, throughout multiple parts of the movie, Chris Pratt's character Star-Lord shits on the fact that the Gamora that is in this universe is a past Gamora that has no remembrance of anything, but still somehow exists in this universe perfectly, but also talks about how the snap is terrible, and because some people came back, but also some people didn't come back, and there's no reason why they did and didn't. It's like, James Gunn, do you really hate this? You hate what's happening in the MCU?
I'm pretty sure I don't know if he said it somewhere or not, but he didn't have a choice with that. He kind of got dealt the hand that he was given, He kind of had to change up the whole plan for 3 around that. Not only that, but he fucking set up Adam Warlock, and I guess they just chose not to use that. So then he had to shoehorn him into the last movie to make any sense of introducing him.
Yeah.
The whole movie was him just making up for all the shit Marvel did without his without his word.
Because I remember there was some character development in Love and Thunder, I believe, and a lot of it at Endgame with Star-Lord and Gamora. I'm glad the film is 2.5 hours long, because they essentially bring up this character, High Evolutionary, which was a guy that was always there. He's literally known across the galaxies for creating life, creating worlds, but also he destroys them so fucking easily. No one's gonna realize, hey, remember that planet full of weird bunny people? It's gone now. Huh? Yeah, it's gone. You remember the guy that created Skin Mask Face? I guess, does he not know? Is he stupid? No, I love that scene. I know we're skipping around talking about this, but I love the scene where a High Evolutionary finds out that his Animen, the animal people, are selling crack to each other, and he said, all right, time to destroy the Earth.
He literally pulled a god. That's literally the Noah's Ark shit.
Don't you remember the Bible story? He's like, hey, Noah, I saw some humans doing crack and weed. Yeah? Is that
I put out a YuGiOh PSA. I thought this could be averted, but it didn't work. I guess they just didn't. English hasn't necessarily been established as a language. My bad.
You keep God, sir, you keep trying to tell us about a Game Boy. We don't have light bulbs. Another thing you keep telling us about.
Why not Game Boy Girl?
I guess we're dead. Sorry, guys. It's the first guy who invented crack. caused the world to flood. How do you think he would feel about that? He's like, whoa, this is great. I'm drowning now.
We're drowning. There's nothing that we can do. Steve Carell comes in from fucking his goofy ass Noah's Ark movie.
But for Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3 or Volume 3, I was like, none of his animal friends are surviving. None of them.
No. No. I mean, I guess eventually it was gonna have to be explained why they just don't show up, but
Yeah, no. So we had Lila, Teeths specifically, and Floor, the rabbit character with all those scary ass limbs and teeth. It's like, oh, could you made the rabbit like less scary? Because the rabbits usually already have bloodshot red fucking eyes.
yeah, it looked like one of the fucking toy monstrosities from Sid's room in Toy Story.
And throughout the movie, High Evolutionary is just trying to get the raccoon character, which he just assumed died long ago. But like in Volume 2, that's when Rocket steals those batteries from the gold people, which apparently were created by High Evolutionary. But wasn't that 6 years ago? Like 5 years ago or something?
Think so. I don't know. The Marvel timeline's fucking bizarre. I know like Endgame had already happened by this point, and Endgame takes place like
here it is.
2024.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 came out 6 years ago, and it's like, hey, why am I now just figuring this out? And so he pulls out Adam Warlock from his pod too early, and so he's kind of dumb. Like, that's his explanation. He's very overpowered, but he's also kind of dumb. And it's like, oh, this is a cool Superman-like character, literally flying through space, not even having to breathe in space. And then he finds this cute little animal, I guess, that slobbers everywhere and licks his nuts, specifically. And he's like, I want to keep this, mother. It is funny. I shall teach him the gold people ways.
That's what he says.
And then his
the
mom
gold people
explodes.
ways.
Just...
We're just going through the movies.
Yeah, I mean, it's been out for long enough that by the time you listen to this, you've probably already seen it. Or if you want to see it, it will be on Disney Plus probably within a month, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it'll be out before July.
But one of the more interesting things is that I believe this is the first MCU film to say asshole and shit.
I don't think it's the first to say those two. I'm pretty sure it's 100% the first one to say fuck.
It was the scene where Gamora couldn't figure out how to get into the car. No, not Gamora, Blue Lady. What's Blue Lady name again? Nebula.
And
it's like, you gotta press the button. He says, get in the fucking car. And it's like, oh, it is PG-13. We could have done that this whole time.
I'm sure James just wanted to get one fucking in before,
just
one F word before he had to leave.
Before the characters leave. It's like, all right.
It's part of his initial contract when he first signed on for the first one.
I was very surprised that this is probably the closest thing we've gotten to a conclusion for characters in the MCU, like a good coherent conclusion between 3 movies, and not like you gotta watch this movie, you gotta watch that movie. Like for Iron Man, you gotta do 1, 2, 3, some of Homecoming, Infinity War, then Endgame, and some of Winter Soldier. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I was thinking the other day. I think the reason Guardians is like, I mean, to me and a lot of people, I'm sure, is like one of the best franchise in the franchise of Marvel is because they're so disconnected from everything else. They're not used as like fodder in setting up something in the future, or they're not just like films to fill out the time. They're their own separate story that just expands the world by existing. It doesn't have to include so much lore and shit. The first one has some, obviously, because they were trying to set up Thanos, but the second one and the third one, nothing. They're completely inconsequential to the rest of the movies.
No, I did like the very early thirds of the Thanos where he's just sitting on his chair going like, my minions, go do this shit for me. You mean find the most powerful stones of the fucking universe? He's like, you guys got this? After 10 years.
Pre-Brolin Thanos.
My guys keep dying. How about I just go find them? And then he finds them all in one movie.
Fine, I'll do it myself.
Oh, jeez. I guess I gotta go find the Infinity Stones.
Before they replaced him with Brolin, they got fucking, what's his name, the Panther.
The Pink
fucking
Panther?
No, this is gonna bother me. What's that Pink Panther? No, not him. The one that. Oh, what's his name?
What are you looking for exactly? He's typing. JJ's typing.
Snagglepuss. I need to find the Infinity Stones. They're not even
Who
there.
is this purple man? Thanos. Speak, you ugly creature. This is Thor.
I need to wipe out half the universe.
Whispering to Iron Man. Is that like his real voice? Are we gonna creature, mighty purple man, we'll stop you in your quest for vengeance. I guess we defeated you. Go. Okay. I thought that was gonna be that easy. Oh,
no, I'm still here. You got time.
Can someone else speak for you? Like someone more serious? Oh.
No. This is
his weird wizard guy comes up. Sire, are these men bothering you?
Yeah, what's up?
This guy's worse.
he's just like a really relaxed guy. I just love the idea that he's so anticlimactic. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna wipe out half the universe. What about it?
Maybe we can have a conversation about this. Like, why?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm not for some reason, I'm just making Thanos Larry David.
What if we just
I don't know.
doubled the resources?
I don't wanna. Yeah,
it would literally be the exact same amount of work. You just
but I'm already gonna snap my fingers. And
how would you snap your fingers in a metal case?
I think I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna do it. Snap. Oh, ain't happening.
Spider-Man Miles Morales, full name. What do you think of this?
I'm Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yep, that's his legal name, everyone. He doesn't even need a mask. He's okay with everyone knowing his name. Miles Morales. At this street in New York, Queens, specifically.
I saw a funny comic page that this is unfortunate. So in the Marvel universe, like in universe, there are two, in the comics right now. They're both Spider-Man. There's Peter and Miles, right? And there's a panel where Miles is swinging around, and someone's like, "Wow, look, it's Spider-Man!" And then someone else is like, "Which one?" And the other one says, "The skinny one." And you hear that, and you're like, "Oh, that's cute." Obviously, this is how people would talk about it. There's no way. This is gonna sound terrible, but there's no way that people don't just immediately call him the black one, because they don't know what's under the mask. They just know he's wearing the black outfit.
Also, in Spider-Man 2, the game coming up soon, you can't say that because Spider-Man Peter Parker also has Venom. So they'd be both black Spider-Man, suit-wise.
In that specific instance, but like in the comics, there's the red one and then there's Miles. And no one's calling him the skinny one.
But it also comes to a point, not even a point, the news that we found, that there will be a live-action Spider-Man Miles Morales movie very soon. And it's like, I guess Tom Holland's taking a break.
Yeah, that's bizarre. I really don't like that.
Yeah, he should keep working forever.
You can't talk.
No days off.
I feel like I can't talk negatively about things like that without coming off like a bigot. But
let's see where this goes.
Like, I want to say I don't think Miles.
Huh? The microphone's right in your mouth. All right, so speak.
I don't think they should introduce Miles yet. Everyone's screaming
because they haven't concluded Peter Parker story yet.
I think let Peter go to college for a year or two, then throw him in. I feel like if you throw him in this early, when Peter's still looking like a little baby boy, kind of loses the whole mentorship point. There's no legacy to be had.
No, that makes sense. Because in instances of Miles, it's either Peter Parker dying or being like in his late 30s.
The point of Miles' character and the big story of his coming of age isn't that he has the same, like, I have responsibility to do, I need to be Spider-Man. It's that he has the powers, the legacy is more or less thrown onto him, and he has to come to his own conclusion to do it. It's not that he has the powers, so he's going to be Spider-Man. He needs to make the legacy his own. But if he just becomes Spider-Man, because fuck it, and Spider-Man's just like another guy, he's like, I might as well. That defeats the whole point. You gotta build up the whole. I feel like such a fucking nerd. You gotta build up Peter's story to make Miles' story make any sense.
Yes, I remember in Spider-Verse, which the second one's coming out tomorrow. I can't wait to see. Spider-Man is like divorced or like broken up with Mary Jane, and he's like clearly in his late 30s, and it's like, yep, that's the guy I want for Miles. Someone who's like, we got to get him out of his sad shit to find out there's a bunch of other Spider-Mens. Because usually after Miles or around Miles, you get the Clone Saga, you get this very fun stuff, or Spider Island, I think that's what they called it. The time when a bunch of radioactive spiders bit like a shit ton of people in New York and a bunch of people became Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, the entirety of New York becomes Spider-Man essentially.
And so for a lot of Miles' story, I hope at the very least he gets his own films. Like whenever we had Spider-Man, we had Spider-Man and Iron Man. Spider-Man and it wasn't Spider-Man Nick Fury a lot, and then we also had in the last film Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. I hope for Miles at the very least they're more grounded stories away from the Avengers and away from Avenger adjacent people, because it's like, what is he thinking? Like, is he by himself? How can he be his own thing and not just have one of those nanomachine suits again?
Yeah, that's what they're doing with... I feel like that's the build-up for 4. I think we're finally going to see that, and I hope to God... I'm a big Spider-Man head.
Spider-Head?
If it's not obvious by the fucking 500 Spider-Man videos I've done.
I'm
a Spider-Head, yeah. That's when I say every time I walk into a room.
Oh, yeah, it's also a point of whether or not... Because remember, in the MCU Spider-Mans, they have, like, mechanical web shooters, but in the first version of Spider-Man, 2002, 2004, all those fun ones, they're, like, liquid web shooters from his skin and everything, like... And so it's like, which one's going to have bioorganic web shooters? He's going to make his own. Because for Miles's powers, he's got bioelectricity and invisibility. That's some cool shit.
It's, yeah, in the comics at this point, it's so bizarre. He can make constructs now. Like, he makes fucking swords.
That's funny as fuck. They should keep doing that.
Out of the electricity. It's so, it's so fucking insane. It's like he's Spider-Man Green Lantern now. It's so
always
weird.
like Green Lantern's bullshit contraptions, but it usually is just the tank that he smashes people with, or a baseball bat.
Dude, when James Gunn gets hold of the reins, which he already has, but when he starts getting shit started, I can't wait to see some goofy Green Lantern shit. Like, I really hope they do Hal, then skip to Kyle, because Kyle's the fucking artist one, and he builds fucking, like, Gundam ships and fucking, like, super bombs out of... he just makes the goofiest shit, and I want to see that in film.
But for Miles Morales to build these the swords and constructs, that probably takes a lot out of him. You know, he's like... he's like standing next to all, like, I just...
So true.
And it's like, Spider-Man, you
So
okay?
true.
Like a random New Yorker. Do you want some soda? Do you want a Monster or something? Like, your tire's like, all my white stuff is gone. Ugh. Hey, yo, we got pervert Spider-Man over here. He's just spinning his white shit, or he's just talking about how he's emptied his white shit over in New York. He's like, that's not what I said. That's not what he said.
Oh, which
The fat-ass
Spider-Man?
one.
I don't think that's a necessarily accurate description.
But also important news for PlayStation 5 exclusives. This is a very small list on Wikipedia. This is so I clarify, an exclusive is not released on the previous console, the PS4 or PC. It's like 9 games. And another one is coming to Steam July 26th.
What?
The launch title, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, is coming to Steam, and you can play it in the widest of widescreen you can. And it's like, that was literally the only reason outside of Spider-Man that I wanted to buy a PlayStation, and now I just gotta wait for Spider-Man 2 to come to PC.
Yeah, like, I saw someone posted that fucking the new Metal Gear already has a Steam page.
I would have thought at least that would have been the Steam, a PS5 exclusive. A lot of different Ps. And it's like, that's good for the rest of us, but also that's why when you make your console $500 and only have like a few games, that makes sense why you're porting it everywhere else.
Yeah, the PS5 is in this weird area right now where no one has it, so they're still releasing it everywhere else, but then the people that do have it have, like, no reason to actually own it.
Speaking of... Cartoon Network had this thing recently where it's like, hey, here's some fake dating profiles for some of our characters. I'll just read you out some. So we got Benson Dunwoody, 30, pretty cool. We have Frankie Foster, 22, pretty good. That's nice. Marshall Lee, 1003, the vampire from Adventure Time. Raven, 18.
Oh no.
It's like,
I can see why you live
because it's like, hey guys, not only are we doing these dating profile things for kids shows, like, I understood Frankie was in her 20s and Benson is in his 30s, but like, you shouldn't have admitted that, Cartoon Network. You shouldn't have admitted that.
There's so many fucking 30 to 40 year olds with their fucking iPad with Procreate. They've been drawing for years, getting so much shit, and they're just like clapping and
they just like
squealing.
posted it like they have in their wallet ready, and anytime it's like, nope, light flashes. It's real.
It's real.
It's legal.
It's real.
It's fine. And it's like, okay, buddy. Okay.
She's legal. She's legal. This cartoon is illegal. Yes. Yes.
But you drew the other characters too. They didn't clarify. They didn't clarify.
Fuck. It's just a cartoon.
Reagan
It doesn't matter.
Blast.
Unless it's legal.
Gorbachev, I sit dark magician to defense mode.